So this week we are at the mothership.
Grand Design.
We brought the American Dream home to get some work done, and we're super excited. We got here to Elkhart, Indiana about a week ago, and got a new axle put on the trailer, and we're here at Grand Design to get the rest of our warranty work done. All right, so it's early this morning and we're getting the trailer ready. I'm gonna go inside to the customer service here in a minute and talk with Grand Design. We're gonna go over our work order and figure out the plan of the day. And from there, Jody and I and the kids and the dog are gonna go find something to do. Hopefully everything can get taken care of in one day. We don't know, but it's a beautiful morning sunrise. Look at that, look at those colors. How cool is that? So it's early, but as you can see, this place comes alive. I think around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, everything's rolling. So it's pretty cool to see. But yeah, I'm gonna go in, talk to them, and we'll see how this day goes. Right, quick update: it's almost 8 o'clock. So we went in at 6 a.m., went over the work order. Everything looked to check out. There's a few things we had to change out, but while we were in there, I asked them how long it's going to take, and they said possibly till Friday. It's currently Wednesday, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I think it's the shop manager. He came out and asked us, if we didn't mind getting a hotel, or just making things easier on them. And we're totally go with the flow, so we're going to go get a hotel for the night or two, possibly. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but they were supposed to pick this thing up by 6:30 this morning, and it's almost 8, and it's still sitting here. And I'm sitting here with it because I had to move my fridge from propane to electric, and because of our inverter, everything's running off our batteries right now, and I don't want it just to sit here on the lot. So once they come pick this up and I know that they're gonna have it plugged in, then I'll at that point I will leave and we'll go find a hotel. So just the waiting game. It's fun. So it's been over 1,100 miles since that last clip, and the truth is we didn't get to record our full experience on our way out the door of Grand Design because a lot of moving pieces were happening. That morning we ended up sitting out there for, I think it was until like 10 a.m. and nobody came to pick up our RV. So I went in and talked to them. It turns out the bay that our RV was going to go into, there was another RV in there that failed its safety inspection, so Grand Design was doing something with the brakes. Totally respect that. So when they finally did pick it up and they took it in their bay, I was kind of relieved. We went and got a hotel. Kids got to go swimming, and and then they got to also jump on some beds, which they cannot do in the RV. So that was pretty cool. Grand Design actually ended up covering that full cost of that stay because of the miscommunication and all that. So it wasn't something that we were looking for, but they covered it. I'm happy. When we picked up our RV on that Friday, I was like, oh, here we go. I personally don't like anybody touching this thing except for maybe a handful of people. So I went through it nose to tail. And as I'm going through it with them, with the list and all that stuff, there was, I think 10% of the stuff they didn't cover because of parts. Totally understandable because of the times. But the rest of the stuff was taken care of. A lot of it was trim pieces that were over torqued from factory and stuff, and they had just cracked over time. We had a couple of fasteners on our walls pop off. We had a couple interior things here and there. And then our heated seats on the theater seating went out. They fixed that, so that was cool. And on top of that, though, as I'm looking around, I knew that we had stuff that needed to be fixed, that wasn't on the list, and I'm still finding stuff that they actually did. And it's just awesome. I'd say the biggest thing when I was doing my walk around was the front axle. I looked at the front axle and I'm like, I knew we just had the rear axle replaced. The front axle was like a little bit rusty and stuff, and I'm like, did they paint that thing? It's really shiny. And so I climbed under and I'm like looking, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, that thing looks brand new. And I kind of got a little scared because I'm like, did I tell them to replace my axle, or did I sign anything? I don't want to pay for this thing, right? And I mean, it's all covered under warranty, but as I'm looking at that, I'm yelling at Jody, and I turn around and the service manager was there. He's like, yeah, he's like, I took a look at that and I had it replaced. I didn't like it, you know, when we did our safety walk around, I didn't like it, so I had them replace your axles. I was like, you serious? Like, they replaced them, you know. So yeah, they replaced our axles and springs and brakes and all that stuff, because it all comes in one assembly. And I was just like, wow, that's cool, you know. So we have 2 new axles, you know, and on top of that, when we were in Indiana, we actually had I forgot to mention this in our last video, we had our equalizer, which is the part in the middle that for our suspension. We had that upgraded to a Dexter equalizer, and that thing has worked amazing. I'm gonna get some shots down the road at some point, you know, showing it in action, but we just have the stock one, and since we've had that on, it's been so smooth, you know, going over bumps with the trailer and stuff. So we're happy with that. We're just overall grateful for the industry. We're grateful for Dexter. We're grateful for Grand Design. We're grateful that they all honor their warranty. You know, I wish I didn't have to go to Indiana to get that kind of service, but after talking to some techs from Grand Design, they actually have mobile techs that roam the country, and a lot of times they're actually in dealerships training, you know, other technicians, because this industry is having a massive problem when it comes to a lot of sales and not enough people to work on them. So it's just part of it, you know. And living out here full time, you know, we have to deal with a lot of different stuff. We don't have the luxury of just dropping our RV off and waiting for 2, 3, 4 weeks or months, you know, for them to get repaired. So we try to take care of what we can take care of. You know, Grand Design has been amazing when it comes to allowing us to get mobile techs, like when our water heater went out, when our furnace went out, and you know, they've covered the cost of it, and that's been cool. You know, that's been real cool. Obviously, we had to get a ticket first and get it pre-authorized, so don't just go do that if you have one of these. But you know, it's just the whole experience. Even talking with the technicians that worked on our RV, you know, they I think it was like 30 minutes before their shift ended, and they went through the whole RV with us when we picked it up, and you know, you could tell that they have a lot of pride in their job. So overall, we're very happy with Grand Design. We're very grateful that they honored their warranty in the manner that they did, and then some. But next week, you're gonna want to subscribe, because next week I'm gonna share with you our trip to Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm also gonna share one of the weirdest campsites I've ever been in, as well as just say I had probably one of the biggest black tank spills in the history of RVing. Like, I'm talking big. So subscribe, and we'll see you down the road. Looks like a sewer. Smells like a sewer. That was not a sewer. We learned the hard way as we got here to North Carolina.